Hello and welcome back everyone. Today we are going to be going over explosive chemical rounds for the Loki, one of my absolute favorite overclocks in this entire game. Explosive chemical rounds can be stupidly strong. This is a balanced overclock for the Loki smart rifle, or Lok1 smart rifle, or Lok1 smart rifle, however you would like to pronounce it. What this does is the last shot from 3 or more targets onto an enemy. This doesn't actually have to be the last shot. This causes an explosion on the enemy, dealing high damage to them, and it also deals damage to everything around them, as well as it induces fear, so enemies can run away. Downsides of this is that it lowers our damage, which doesn't really matter. The explosive is going to give us way more damage than what we lose, and we have less ammo. Again, that doesn't really matter because we're going to get more value out of the explosive than the actual weapon. The way I have it built is like this, which is a rather unique build for the Loki. So in tier 1, I'm going with ammo. Ammo is going to get us more value in the damage. I would just always recommend ammo with this particular overclock. Tier 2, usually I say this one is your choice, and it still is. You can pick whatever one you would like here. But I would highly recommend that you try out the macro lens. This gives us much longer range, but gives us a much smaller shot pattern, or lock-on pattern. This is very useful for picking off things at very long range, of course, but it's also very useful for just getting to that 3 targets that we need in order to trigger this. And that's kind of the way that I usually like using this overclock, is to use it like a burst fire rifle. Tier 3, I'm going with electrochemical rounds. This gives us 20% more damage if something is on fire or being electrocuted, or both, because these do stack on top of one another, so we can have even more damage. Tier 4, I'm going to the faster lock-ons. This one makes a bit more sense than more lock-ons. You don't really need more lock-ons when you're just trying to get to 3. You could take it if you'd like. It's not a bad option, but I feel like the faster lock-ons is a little bit better. And then in Tier 5, I'm going with the electro generator. This makes it so every third round on an enemy makes it so that they are electrocuted. And every third round that we fire on an enemy also explodes. That's a pretty strong combination. This one is an insanely strong overclock, and it kind of pairs well with anything that you want to take as a secondary, because you're not usually lacking in ammo, even though it might look like we don't have very many shots. Trust me, you'll have plenty of shots with this one. So one of my favorite overclocks to pair this with is Inferno with the breach cutter. This is the fire breach cutter, so we can light things on fire and we can electrocute things, so we can have more damage thanks to that electrochemical rounds, which is really awesome. I wouldn't recommend taking this particular overclock on Dreadnought mission. It'll still do high damage because it is the breach cutter still hitting them, but you will do less damage than some of the other breach cutter overclocks, and actually most of the other breach cutter overclocks. So in that case, I would recommend you take something like lightweight cases, which is insanely strong with this one too, if you want to take that. If you wanted some more utility on your secondary weapon, you could take our J250 on the grenade launcher. This lets you fling yourself, as well as you can put fire on it, so you can still light things on fire if you want to. And it gives you decent crowd control against grunt waves. If you didn't want that, you wanted just to kill things quicker, you could always go with hyperpropellant. That's a great option for the grenade launcher too. You could still take this with fire as well, because hyperpropellant converts your damage, so you just get fire on top of it. It's kind of weird the way hyperpropellant works, and really anything on the grenade launcher would work depending on what you want. If you want more ammo, you could go with one of the ammo overclocks. If you wanted just more damage, you could go with clean sweep, and you still wanted to use it like a standard grenade launcher, or you could always bring nukes just to, you know, commit more war crimes. Whatever you want to do, it's your call. Shard diffractor's in a similar position. I would recommend something like volatile impact reactor. This way you can also light things on fire and light more things on fire when you put the lava down. If you don't like that, though, you can really go with anything else. You could go with Overdrive Booster if you want really high single target damage. You could go with something like Plasticky Catalyst if you want more crowd control. Or you could always go with something like Efficiency Tweaks if you just want a straight upgrade to your Shard Diffractor and you want something that's also effective at really long range. All of them are really good options. Oh, we got a swarm? Alright, first swarm. Awesome. I guess I'm going to hang out over here because this seems like a good spot. We're also playing with lethal enemies and we're playing with Swarmageddon. So this would usually be a really big pain to deal with, but this build I'm pretty confident in. And generally we just kind of want to use it like this. You can lock onto these little guys as many times as you would like, so the turrets don't kill them really fast, because it's not going to take the total amount of ammo that you have locked onto an enemy. It's only going to take what's necessary, and that way against small guys you actually want to have a bunch of lock-ons, or at least 3, whereas bigger guys you just want to lock to 3. That way you can get rid of them. And you can kind of see the explosion has a pretty decent radius to it. Throw out some more of this stuff. Oh! Okay, that was a long shot from the goo bomber. Well, fair enough then. You can't kill big things like the goo bombers quite fast though. And we can also use our breach cutter for some level of crowd control, because I do have the plasma on there too. So let's try to torch all these things. then just try to get 2-3 lock-ons with that.
Lock and load it.
Or again, a bunch of lock-ons on the little ones. Doesn't really matter. There we go. I believe this also has just enough damage to kill a slasher from full HP, and it also has just enough damage if you let the electricity tick down on even 4-man has 5, then it can just 3-tap a Tri-Jaw, which is pretty useful.
Another day at the office.
It's always nice to... Oh. I'm gonna out of bullets. Go get them, Shredders. Yes. That's that to me, Busco. Thank you. I'm going to die to little ones now. Oh, hey, we're rich! No, can't have my gold. We're rich. It's mine. Well, I guess I can get a Steve, too. There we go. Helps if Steve is kind of electrocuted, too. Or at least stunned. They're kind of nice. We're rich, Steve! Look at this. There's also a detonator, Steve. So it might have been nice knowing you. Alright. Let's kind of clear up our crowd a little bit. Get us some more damage on targets like this. And just try to trigger those explosives as much as possible. Oh. There we go. Okay. Can't hurt my feet. That's okay. You can just drop that there, Bosco. There's so many goo bombers this time around. Huh. Alright. Let's see what Bosco's after. Oh, just regular grunts. I was wondering which one he would pick to try to kill. We can also light the detonators on fire too. That'll give us a little bit more damage. And we can try to curve the bullets into the weak spots. As well as, you know, breach cutter spam is pretty strong. Alright, goodbye detonator. I guess we can go then. I don't really need the mushrooms. Maybe we'll find 10 mushrooms along the way. We can have that as a side quest. Well, we try to fight off everything. It's also just going to be more rough when we have Swarmageddon with lethal enemies and this mission ends up going longer. But yeah, this build is incredibly strong. It works really well on just about every mission. The only mission that you might want to adjust it on is like Dreadnoughts. And that's about it. And even on Dreadnoughts, it's still going to do really well. It's just not as well as it potentially could do. But on everything else, you should be good to go. Alright, well, I at least want to get half of the mushrooms that I could have gotten. Oh, there's also beer money over here. Alright, new objective. Secure the beer money. I don't know if that'll reach that far. It did. Fantastic.
And loaded. Access provided.
Ah, there's some more mushrooms over here. Oh, there's all of our mushrooms over here. Okay. Yes, we're good to go now. Haha. I'll be on my way. Hey, I actually landed that. Usually I break my feet when I just jump blindly down here. Oh wait, no, I missed one. Dang. Yes, mission control, drop pod. Hopping down in 2 minutes. I'm still missing a mushroom though. I'm also missing a leg now. Alright, well, we tried. I'll be on my way then. Alright, I'm curious, how many kills did we get that mission? Probably a lot just from the swarmers. And our turret, we could have killed a decent amount of them. Let's see, 2 downs, 563 kills in only 16.5 minutes. Dang. That is a lot of kills in a very short amount of time.